In this video, we will begin a series with a conversion for the Dozer project. First, we want to tell you that you should always follow all safety precautions, never work on electronic items plugged in. There's a hazard of electrocution. Always wear safety material, eyes, hands, body, and follow all the safety precautions that you can. This is not an all-inclusive guide. This is going to be a basic overview. We're going to walk you through the steps. The concept is creating a path for the Platen transport system for the DIY DTG printer based on the Epson. And in this particular case, we're going to start with a P600, which is the new Epson printer, newest printer on the market. And I highly recommend that you get the service manual, which will give you a step-by-step breakdown on how to take this apart, including all the covers and mechanical components of the printer. So we've already initialized this printer out of the box to make sure that it works. You always want to do that. You don't want to start cutting a printer that you know doesn't work. And then the next step, the beginning steps, will be to remove and cut the plastics. So we will start over here in the front, and we're going to remove all of the easy items first, and that includes these drawers. So you'll just take a screwdriver and pop these out. That's all going to be trash. And same with your rear cover. Get all the components off that you can. These should pop off. Then we're going to turn the printer around and start removing the screws and making marks for the cuts. So we've turned the printer around, and you'll see that I have placed some silver marks on the back. This is where a future cut is going to happen, and I just used a square and a permanent silver Sharpie so you can see where that's going to be cut. The next step is we will be removing these plastic covers, and we'll start by removing this screw here, as the service manual shows as well. Screw here, screw here, screw here, screw here, and again here. Now that we have removed all of the screws in the rear plastic here, we're going to go ahead and remove these plastic covers. Your first piece will be here where you put your marks on. So we're just going to grab it in this position, pull out. Sometimes this can be stubborn. There's little hooks there, and there's your back piece. Put this to the side. Don't forget your marks here. This is where you're going to make a future cut. Now we're going to remove these side covers here, which the screws we have already taken out. That just slides back, pulls off, exposes the side. We're going to do the same on the other side. Take this cover off, slide it back, pull it off, exposes that side. Then we're going to come around, raise this top cover, and you will notice there's two little plastic pieces on the side here. These will have to come off. So pop those up, they come right off, and we're going to do the same with the other side. After turning the printer around, now we're going to remove the screws that hold the front faceplate on and the body. So we're going to remove these screws here, just as shown in the service manual. The screw here, and it's duplicated on this side. You'll want to put all these screws in a cup or a container so you don't lose them. And we're going to go ahead and unplug these flat cables to the control panel. They just pop out, right like that. And now we'll remove the screws. So after the screws are removed, we're going to go ahead and remove this front faceplate. There's two little hooks under the bottom on each side, and you'll need a flat screwdriver in most cases to pop it off, and that's what we'll do here. Get your screwdriver in, pop it in both places, that side pops off. Same with this side. And you'll notice, once we pull this off, there's a wire connector here. This is the cover open sensor. We're just going to unplug that, snaps out, and you're going to take a piece of masking tape and label this cover open sensor. Protect this cover because there's electronic board in the front here with the power. You don't want to damage that. Put it in a safe place aside. Now we're going to remove the top panel of the printer. It's 4 screws and the entire top cover will come off. You have a screw here, a screw in the rear here, and this is duplicated on both sides. One here and one in the rear. So with the screws removed, now we're going to go ahead and remove this complete top cover. And one thing I'd like to point out are these flat cables here. They're labeled. Pay close attention to, you'll see a CN1 on the top and a CN2 on the bottom. That's how it plugs back in. But we're going to push these through this little hole so they're not damaged. And we're going to pull them back so they're out of the way of the cover coming off. And then you're simply going to pick the cover up and put it to the side. Once the cover is removed, you're going to want to tilt the printer up and remove some of this bottom extension pieces. So we'll flip the printer up like this, and you'll see there's 2 screws, or 4 screws actually, one here, one here, one here, one here. We're going to remove those now. Once those screws are removed, we're simply just going to take this piece off here, and this will be trash. Again, the goal is we're creating a path, and everything in the centerpiece is eventually going to be cut and removed.